Something that I thought about in your article, which is a weird thought, was thinking about people's obsession with conspiracy theories and the way it changes their thinking, and there's a parallel between cults. And I thought about like John Hinckley Jr. and his obsession where he shot the president and he was going to hijack an airplane and kill himself in front of Jodie Foster. He was crazy, but that it's the same kind of obsession that I saw in your article with things that people without real neurosis go down paths where all of a sudden they're just consuming and they can't get enough of this thing and it just takes over their lives. Why do you think that happens with secular ideas, some conspiracy theories?
Man, I think there's so many formulas, there's so many paths to get to conspiracy theory thinking and paranoia. It's really hard to break down into one avenue. I think the general pattern is that people are going through some type of hardship. They're going through loss of a loved one, social isolation, maybe loss of a job, or it could even just be like personal issues, like maybe they just have anxiety or depression or other psychological problems that they've been dealing with. And that's usually the baseline, and then it's from there tapered with some existential feeling, like a sense that you need meaning or belonging. So you need a community to give you purpose, like a direction to make you feel like you're here for a reason. To me, those are really strong psychological, archetypal factors that date back thousands of years, and they probably date back to really the beginning of humanity. And they're things that most people around the world and throughout history have felt in some way at some point in their lives. So I think that's the kind of freaky part about all this, is all people carry the same propensity for this thinking. Mm-hmm. It just, all it takes is a sort of trigger. So like that, like you might have a pre-existing temperament that you're more prone to delusion or anxiety, or maybe you just think you're super special, or you feel powerless in a situation. Like these are all things that have been tied back in the psychology literature, to being swept up by this stuff. So it could be something like that, or you could just be a totally like relatively normal person with no pre-existing issues, but then you experience, a loss of a job, and your wife leaves, and you're at home, and you have all this time on the computer, and you're looking for purpose and friends, and you start to just go down the rabbit hole in some of these areas. And I think it's really those baseline human features that for like meaning and belonging that I think are at the root of what drives people to believe in conspiracy theories. Because the same reason people look into cults, same reason they look into self-help measures or pseudoscience or religion. These are all things that relate back to those kind of fundamental drivers, and it's why I think we're seeing it in such mass amounts right now, like during the pandemic.